Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean from Keeping Rock Alive, and welcome to Introduction to Bar Chords. So today we're going to start looking at bar chords, specifically the A and E shaped bar chords. They're called that because they're based off of the E and A major open chord shapes that we learned before. It's called a bar chord because of the fact that when we're playing it here, we're relying on the open strings to form certain notes within the chord. However, if we wanted to move that shape further up the neck, we can't just play the open strings even though we move the rest of the shape up. So we use our first finger to create a bar across all the strings on a certain fret, acting in a way like the open strings. If we wanted to form a G major chord, using the E bar chord shape, we will place a bar with our first finger across all of the strings on the 3rd fret. Then, using the remaining fingers, we're going to form the same shape as we did in the open position, but now it's fingered 3rd finger, 5th fret of the A string, 4th finger, 5th fret of the D string, and our 2nd finger, 4th fret of the G. And as you can see, these 3 fingers are forming the same shape as we did in the open position, and the first finger is acting like the open strings. So that sounds like this. And just like we did with the open chords, if we wanted to make this minor, all we have to do is change one note, the 3rd, from a major 3rd to a minor 3rd. And like we did in the open position, the one note we have to change is on the G string, which in this case is a B. And if we wanted to make this a G minor chord, we need to lower that by 1 fret or 1/2 step to a B flat. So we lift our 2nd finger off, and now we have a G minor bar chord. One important thing to note in this case is the fact that when you're playing the bar with your first finger, you don't want to place it flat down. You can kind of put it at an angle, and that'll help make it a little bit easier to press down all the notes. Also, when you're playing a bar chord and you have notes that are fretted above the first finger, you don't have to put a lot of energy into pushing those certain strings all the way down. So in the case of this G major chord, I'm not pushing down with my full force on these middle strings because they're being played with these other fingers. I'm putting most of my strength in that finger on the low E and on the top 2 strings. The second bar chord we're going to look at is the A shape. And if we remember our A shape open chord, it's played like this. Just like we did with the A, we can start moving that chord higher up the fretboard and use a bar in place of the open strings. If we wanted to play a C major bar chord using the A shape, so we're placing our bar on the 3rd fret, starting from the A string up to the high E. In this bar chord, you don't have to bar the low E string because just like we did in the open chord, we're not going to be playing that string. So now that we have our bar, we can form the same shape we did with the A open chord. We have to change the fingering a little bit, but it is 2nd finger, 5th fret of the D, 3rd finger, 5th fret of the G, and 4th finger, 5th fret of the B. And then the bar will play the 3rd fret on the high E. And that sounds like this. Just like in the previous chord and in the open chord positions, all we have to do to make this chord a minor bar chord is change one note, which is the major 3rd, down to a minor 3rd by lowering it 1 fret. And in this case, the 3rd of the chord is an E, which is being played on the B string. So if we wanted to make a C minor bar chord, all we have to do is lower that one note. And to do that, we're going to change the fingering a little bit. We're going to move our 2nd finger to the 4th fret of the B string, move the 3rd finger to the 5th fret of the D, and our 4th finger to the 5th fret of the G. And now we have our C minor bar chord, and it sounds like this. These shapes can be moved anywhere up and down the fretboard. So if you're playing an E major shape bar chord and you wanted to move it, say, to the 7th fret, for example, the root of the chord for which the chord gets its name will always be on the low E strings. So in this example, the note on that string is a B, which means that this is a B major chord. The same rule goes for the A shape. So before we were playing a C major as an example, but say you want to move that to the 9th fret and play it there. And the root of these bar chords will always be on the 5th string, or the A string. So in this case, playing this shape starting from the 9th fret, the note on the A string is F sharp, which means that this is an F sharp major chord. And the same thing applies for both the major and minor shapes we learned. That's all for this lesson. Make sure to subscribe, leave comments down below on things you'd like to learn, and you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/KRAGuitar.